Hi everyone, my name's Amanda. I'm a tarot and oracle card reader, a developing medium, among other things. So I'm continuing my series of videos talking about some spiritual topics, my perspective on things. I really want you guys to get a chance to know who I am and possibly through that understand if you want to work with me or not. I'm looking to be really transparent about my experiences but that being said, these are my experiences and my perspective. I don't by any means have the answers to everything. So take my experiences for what they're worth and leave anything that doesn't resonate for you. Today's topic, I'm actually pretty excited to talk about. Today's topic is, what does it mean to be psychic? So I feel like I've gotten this question a lot because, people who I've grown up with, it's pretty new to them that I am psychically gifted. So people have a lot of questions, and I feel like that's a good thing. I think it's something that I want to talk about, but I tried to kind of boil this down because it's a multifaceted experience. So I'm going to do my best to explain from my current level of understanding. The first thing I want to say about being psychic is it ain't like That's So Raven, y'all. So, well, I guess for some people maybe it can be, but it's usually not that you're just like living your life and suddenly you go, I have a vision. Not usually. It's usually a lot more subtle than that. Personally, I believe all of us have the ability to be psychic, but I think those abilities are sometimes untapped or blocked for whatever reason. I think when anyone is discussing this topic, the thing that we need to talk about first is the clairs. That's clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant. So I'm looking at my notes here, so that's why my eyes are wandering. So the clairs. Let's start with clairvoyant because I feel like that's the one most people know about or at least have heard the word before. Clairvoyant translates to clear seeing. So this is like seeing visions, usually of the past or the future. They can occur in a dream state, so you can have a vision in the form of a dream that comes true or comes to you in the form of deja vu. People who are clairvoyant often are very visually based, so they can, a lot of times I feel like they're artists who work with visual mediums. Me personally, I have had a few clairvoyant type visions, but that's a little bit more rare for me. It's a skill I'm still developing a lot more. So that's clairvoyant, so clear seeing. Clairaudient is clear hearing. So that's like hearing a voice from spirit or a message with your ears, an auditory message. For me, it's not usually like the same as hearing a voice so much as I've had communication where it's like a thought that goes through my head that's clearly not my own. So it's more like that than actually hearing a sound, but I'm sure other people have different experiences, and I'd honestly love to hear your experience in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Clairsentient is clear feeling, so that's a lot of physical sensations in the body. It can also be just feeling the energetic presence of another entity. I've had that where you can just feel that somebody or some spirit is in your vicinity, and it's not necessarily the same as a physical touch. Forgive me. So clairsentience, it can be physical sensations in your body. It can manifest as feeling the emotions of another person. So an example of that from my own life, because I tend to be very clairsentient. A friend of mine was having a panic attack, an anxiety attack, and I didn't even know it. He was in another room entirely, and I just burst out crying for absolutely no reason, hysterically. So he was pushing down his anxiety, trying to cope with it, and it came out through my physical form. I also have had where I feel sadness that seems to come out of nowhere, and I find out later that a loved one has been feeling sad, and this can happen even if they are over 1,000 miles away from me. So that can be the way that manifests. Also, clairsentience can manifest as pain in the body. So I am connected energetically to one of my guides was an officer in the Civil War, and he died by a shrapnel fragment hitting him in the back of the head. And when I was connecting with him a lot, I tended to have headaches in the exact same spot where he received his wound. So that has happened for me. I have been sitting next to my mom and felt sharp pain in the back of my knee, and asked her if she'd been having knee pain on that side, and she had. I've also had people that I'm, and this tends for me to happen with people that I'm just very energetically connected to, so friends and family and loved ones. So I've had that someone that I am really connected to was sick and throwing up, and I walked into the room and I immediately felt sick to my stomach, and I'll have physical symptoms sometimes, which isn't always fun. That one is probably the one that I have the most experience with. And the last clair is claircognizant. So that translates to clear knowing. This one I think is the most convoluted and hard to trust when you're experiencing it. Sometimes you just know shit and you're not sure how you know it. So take that for what it is. Sometimes you just get an intuitive message, and for some reason you just know it's true and you're not really sure the source of it. That would be claircognizant. I've also had some experiences with smell as well, where I will be somewhere and I'll smell someone's cologne who's not nearby me at all. I've had a moment where I smelled cigarettes, but I was indoors and no one was smoking, and I kind of was asking if anybody else smelled it, and they didn't, and it was connected to somebody who I know, who again was, thousands of miles away from me. So those are the clairs. So that's kind of how you receive psychic information. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can know it. And that's all that in a nutshell. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said on that topic. Wow, someone really doesn't want me to talk about this. My throat was completely clear before I started this video. Okay. So, I know a lot of people throw around the word empath. To me, being an empath is synonymous with being psychic. I think the two are very interrelated. So if you've ever walked into a room and without anyone saying a word, you've known somebody was sad or something was wrong, you're an empath. And to me, if you're an empath, you're also psychic. If you're feeling energy from other people, you're receiving psychic information from them. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I really believe that everybody is psychic on some level. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. I really believe that empath and psychic are somewhat interchangeable. Now, I also want to talk about mediumship as connected to psychic abilities. So this was a part of my own journey that I resisted heavily. I had always been really afraid of ghosts, monsters, spirits, didn't want anything to do with it. Dead people, no thanks. But when I actually started interacting with dead people, I discovered it really wasn't as scary as I thought. So if there are any of you out there having this experience, please connect with me. I felt like I got through that experience because of the support I received, and I'd love to be that for you as well. So one way of connecting to spirits or those who have passed on is you can connect with them through card reading. So you can ask them questions through tarot cards or other forms of divination. You can also just receive psychic communication from them, which was pretty much the way I opened up to it. The first experience I had was actually a friend of mine had a really good friend of his pass away suddenly. And shortly after that, I was receiving messages from his friend who'd passed. At the time, I really had no idea what was going on. But I received a lot of communication through songs. And I also did communicate with him a bit through cards. I think oftentimes when someone has passed away suddenly or unexpectedly, it takes them a little time to transition. So they will go find somebody who's connected to their loved ones, who's maybe an open channel, and attempt to communicate with them. So that was an experience I had. I also have, like I think I mentioned before, I have a pretty strong past life spirit guide connection to a Civil War soldier. And we have had a lot of dialogue and communication in varying ways. So you can have past life connections who are in spirit who are now acting as guides for your current lifetime. And that is a whole nother journey of me learning about that and communicating with him, which I'll put the link to that experience down below. But recently I actually had an experience as well with, I was staying at this bed and breakfast, and I was staying at a bed and breakfast, and I realized, well, in the middle of the night I woke up and I felt like someone was grabbing my legs. And at first I thought it was my dog walking on me, but it turned out that she was asleep right by my shoulder, so it couldn't have been her. And I just felt like someone was tapping on my legs. For some reason, I just felt like it was a woman. I later found out a friend of the woman who owned the property had passed away in a car accident, and her ashes had been spread there because she loved it so much. So we talked for a little bit about this woman, and I'm pretty sure that's who was trying to contact me. But that was really, I hadn't been touched physically by spirit before, so that was kind of interesting. But yeah, they can get in touch with you in multiple ways. They can do it through song, they can do it through speaking to you and giving you messages, more like clairaudiently. They can physically touch you, you know, it kind of all happens however they decide. But that all being said, I think when you're talking about psychic abilities, it's always really important to also discuss psychic protection, because just because an entity is contacting you doesn't mean it has your best intentions in mind. That's not to make it seem scary. It really isn't scary. I promise you. Like, I walk in graveyards and I'm not worried. And this is why. It's really as simple as asking for protection. If you ask for protection, you will be protected. That's how it works. Hands down. It's really as simple as that. So you can ask your guides, angels, God, the universe, whatever you resonate with, ask them for help. Ask them to please protect your energy from any negative entities that are trying to enter your energetic space. Ask them to allow only the highest level guides to be with you. And ask for shielding and protection from all negative entities. And you should be fine. You can also use cleansing tools such as sage, Palo Santo, other incenses that are designed for protection. If you know you're going somewhere with a lot of spiritual activity and you want to make sure you're extra protected, I sometimes do that. You can use protection crystals or stones or totems. You can also do a pyramid of light protection, energetic protection visualization. So you visualize a pyramid of protective white or violet light surrounding you and ask your guides and angels to protect your energy. You can take a salt bath to clear yourself of any negative energy. And you can ask your angels and guides to cleanse your energy and chakras. Also, really important to, whenever you're interacting with other entities, to recenter, ground yourself, and call your energy back to yourself once you've been opening up psychically. Maybe all that doesn't make total sense yet. I might do another video more on psychic protection, but that's a great place to start, and Google's a great thing. There are a lot of tools out there. That's just kind of an intro to that. But I also have a book recommendation for today's topic, and that's The Empath's Survival Guide by Dr. Judith Orloff. I will also put a link to that below. But I think as you open up to your sensitivities, your psychic abilities, it's really important to understand how to protect yourself so you don't get burnt out and shield yourself from anything that's going to try to block your progress. That's pretty much all I wanted to say on that. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. What does being psychic mean to you? Do you have any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer. And until next time, I hope all is well with you.